Good morning. Oof, this hair. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, B. Good morning, everybody. Oh, from Crestwood. Hey, hey, neighbor. Oh, hey, Nashville. Hey. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Coffee Talk. It is Tuesday, the morning after the Emmys, and I am like blown away by Judith Light. I just want to meet her and go out with her. Also, Tracee Ellis Ross, holy perfection in that pink dress. The proposal was super cute. Other than that, the Emmys were a snooze fest. And I worked the Emmys for 12 years. Snooze fest. But whatever. I digress. The dog was up 157 times last night. He's a fucking terrorist, okay? I don't even want to talk about the dog. So we're going to skip right over the dog. I can't function. I'm so tired. The coffee doesn't even help anymore. All right. So, okay. So let's talk for a second about parenting. Okay. So last night at dinner, Olivia and I got into a conversation about she has a best friend that she's had for years, and there's a boy in her class that she is good friends with who doesn't like that friend. And I saw it coming, the friction between the three of them, Olivia trying to be the middleman. I tried to consult her along the way, whatever. And in the end, she ended up choosing the friendship she has with this boy. Now, without getting into too much detail, this little girl that was Olivia's best friend is going through a really hard time. And as we know, hurt people hurt. So she became very defensive and lashed out at Olivia, which Olivia doesn't handle very well. She internalizes everything. So if somebody says to Olivia, I don't want to talk to you, Olivia will retreat. She's like her father. I will just retreat to the other side of the world until I don't know when, the ends of time. So I started talking to Olivia last night at the dinner table about the whole situation. And I said, I don't really like the fact that this young girl was your best friend from the time you were in kindergarten, and now you're in 5th grade. And because this boy doesn't like her, you decided you're not going to be her friend in the middle of her going through the hardest time of her life. And Olivia was like, that's not what happened. She changed. She's not. I said, yeah, she changed, because pain will change you. Heartache will change you. Do you know how many people after my father died in high school didn't know how to approach me anymore, didn't know who I was or who I would be after, and they didn't know how to handle my anger or my sadness, so they just left me? Do you know what that feels like, to be left at a time in your life where you feel like your whole world is falling apart, especially as a child? So I said, Olivia, we got to talk about this, boo. I can't have you the type of kid that chooses, first of all, boys over your girls. We got to talk about that first. I know you don't have boyfriends, and I know it's not romantic, but it still sets a precedent. You can't know, I can't leave you to believe that that kind of behavior is good, because it isn't. And I said, and I want you to write this little girl a letter, and I want you to say to her, I know you're going through a hard time. I'm here if you want to talk. That's all you have to say. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do a lot of shit. You want to start making lists of the stuff we don't want to do that we have to do every day? But it is important for me that you are the type of kid that extends an olive branch. I tried. She told me she didn't want to talk to me. Okay, we'll see Exhibit A. We'll go back to hurt people hurt. She is hurting Olivia. She's 10 years old. She doesn't know how to process what she's dealing with. So of course she's going to push you away. And you run around with the one kid in class that treats her like dog shit. So what do you expect? Anyway, we go through this whole thing. Okay? We get in bed last night, Michael and I. And he takes my hand and he says, I think you need to back off, Olivia. Bitch, did you just tell me to back off my kid? Because I know you didn't. And he said, yes, and don't get defensive and don't swell up on me. I love that he knows. I was like really about to fight. He said, but you have to let her work it out, Jamie. I said, no, that's not our job. Our job is not to see them making mistakes and let them work it out. Our job is to guide them and teach them the right way. He was like, I disagree. You've explained it to her, and now you need to leave her with it. She needs to internalize it. She needs to think about it. No, that is not what's going to happen. What's going to happen is I'm going to say what I have to say, and she's going to do what you do. She's going to take the parts of it she doesn't want to emotionally deal with, and she's going to swallow them. Okay? So I thought about it. I woke up this morning really thinking about it. And I go back to the fact that I don't agree. Olivia, yeah, I know she's 10 years old, right? But Olivia has to be pushed towards doing the emotional correct thing. It is her nature to avoid any emotion that is uncomfortable for her. If I don't push her outside her emotional comfort zone now, she will become an emotionally stunted adult like her father. If as soon as there's an emotion that they can't deal with or don't want to deal with, they shut down. Okay? There's no conversation. There's no integration. There's no nothing. Right? So right now, Olivia is dealing with emotion that makes her uncomfortable. She would rather ignore the fact that she was ever friends with this child. She would rather ignore the fact that this child is going through a hard time. She doesn't want to deal with it. And I understand that. Other people's pain makes us uncomfortable. Other people's heartache makes us uncomfortable. But who are we if we ignore the pain of the people that we love when they are drowning in it? Who are we if we emotionally shut down and just find other friends when our friends are in pain? Really, who are we? So I understand the delicate balance of like, Olivia's 10, don't push her too hard. I totally get that. But who is she if the little girl that she has been best friends with for 5 years is going through the hardest time of her life and my daughter is choosing to ignore it because it makes her uncomfortable? And now I understand people can go, oh, Jamie, Olivia's 10 years old. She's a baby. You're right. She is a baby. This is a lot. It is easier to ignore. I get it. But this is when this little girl needs my kid to show up. I'm sorry you have to do the hard work. I'm sorry human interaction and the social responsibility and the human connection is difficult. I'm sorry it makes you uncomfortable. I know it is easier to ignore the people you love when they are in pain and you don't know how to process it because it makes you uncomfortable. I get it. But I was that little girl one time in my life. I was that kid who desperately needed people to say, I'm still here and I'm not leaving. Even when you push me away, I'm not leaving. And very few were able to do it. So I hate it for Olivia. I do. I hate it for her. I hate that she has me as a mom who's going to push her to like be emotionally aware and, you know, outside her comfort zone and blah, blah, blah. But I want to raise kids that show up for people. I want to raise kids that show up for people. And Michael had a cush life. Nobody died. Nobody got divorced. Nobody left anybody for another woman. Michael he had the perfect life. So in his world, nobody ever pushed him outside his comfort zone. And guess what? He's emotionally stunted. He can't handle anything that requires transfer of emotion. None. Nothing. So it is a delicate balance. It is a delicate balance because I am aware that Olivia also is very young. 10 years old is young. To be forced to stand up and do the right thing, to be forced to be pushed outside your emotional comfort zone, I get it. It is, and it's interesting. As I was talking to her, right? As I was talking to her at the dinner table, Max and Charlie started chiming in. Yeah, Olivia, you should write her a note. In your journal in 2nd grade, when it said, who's your best friend, you always said her. And when she was always your best friend and she's hurting, you should write her a note. You see, my other two are more like me. They feel, they allow themselves. Olivia feels, but she doesn't allow herself to feel. Max and Charlie allow themselves to feel. But I just know that if my child was friends with your child and your child was going through a hard time, I would want my child to show up. And you know what? 5th grade, this is it, y'all. This is it. Use guys. Let me balance it out. Use guys. This is the age where they start to click off, where they start to snub their noses, where they start to decide this one's not cool enough for this one and this one. First of all, forget the issue I have that she let this little boy tell her who should and shouldn't be her friend. Forget that argument, because then I'll really burn this house down. Okay? But the fact that this baby is going through such a hard time and my daughter is choosing to ignore it because it's too uncomfortable for her, oh, I can't handle it. I really can't handle it. So I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure out what to do and how to handle it. But I don't know. I'm not saying that I have all the right answers, because I don't. I'm not saying I'm the best mom. I'm not even saying I'll make the right decision, because I might not and I may not. So what I was thinking about doing was talking to the teacher and asking the teacher to create a group activity where Olivia and this little girl could be in the same group and see how they interact. But I really feel that Olivia will look back one day and think, damn, I really did her dirty. I really did her dirty. And maybe it isn't intentional, but I don't like it. I don't like the fact that I am trying so hard with my kids to make them godly and inclusive, and they are being influenced so easily by outside influences. And I get that that's part of it. I'm not the only parent who feels this way. I know all of you who are parents right now going, girl, who are you telling? I know. But I am just at a point now where I'm starting to realize how much outside influences really affect our children. And it is scary to me. It is so scary to me how easily our children can be influenced by other children. Anyway, I need to think about it, but I wanted to bring this to your attention because I think it's a conversation as parents, and not even as parents, soon to be parents. One day we'll be parents. I never want kids, but I care about the state of the world, right? This work is hard. It's hard, and I'm tired. And believe me, I'd rather just ignore it and go to bed. But I can't, because who my children are affects your children. Never forget that. Who my children are affects your children. Who your children are affects mine. All right, well, maybe share this video because I think people need to hear this. It's a conversation we should all have. There is a share button right there. If you want, you can share this video. I love you all so much today. More today than I did yesterday, if it's even possible. I love you. Have a great day.